Hi friends, welcome to another Sunday with Sarah. This is Sarah Baldwin, and I'm here to talk to you today about first grade readiness. Now, in my own experience as a parent, and with the many parents I've worked with over the years as a teacher, there is a tendency among first-time parents or with firstborn children to start first grade as soon as possible. It's seen as a big milestone, and parents, and I was guilty of this too, you want your child to kind of push them ahead to the next thing. Now, if your child has a summer birthday and is maybe on the cusp of the first grade cutoff for your school, I'm here today to urge you to think carefully about whether it's time for your child to move on, or whether an extra year of kindergarten would benefit your child. I'm strongly in favor of giving those children with summer birthdays the extra time to play, because if you think about it, those magical early childhood years, and they really are magical, those years full of play, and play is so important to a child's development, to a human being's development. So I often say to parents, what's the rush? You can either give them an extra year to play, or just start them in school a year early so they can graduate from college a year early and to enter the workforce a year early. So is the point that they get an extra year of working life under their belt before they die. And that's an extreme way of looking at it. But that extra year of kindergarten can be such a gift. Now, most Waldorf schools have a later cutoff date for first grade, or an earlier cutoff date, I should say, for first grade. Because as I mentioned in another video, the age of 7 is when a child is really, most children around the age of 7, turning 7, are in a whole new developmental phase of life. Prior to the age of 7, during the early childhood years, children are developing in many different areas, physically, emotionally, and cognitively, academically. And you know, some children are really good with language skills, some are very physically agile. In those early years, children are usually more ahead in one area than another. Closer to the age of 7, all those different areas are pretty much caught up, which is the ideal time, in my opinion and many others, to begin the academic work of first grade. A child under the age of 7, we know now they need to be moving. They are developing their brains, which is going to help their future learning by moving, both running and jumping and climbing rocks and swinging. All of those things are developing their brains, as is the small handwork, fine motor work that we do in kindergarten with coloring and painting and finger knitting and other crafts, teaching them to sew. If you hurry a child along, and if your child is right on the cusp of that cutoff for first grade, if you make the decision to push them ahead, if you think about it, they may be a full year developmentally behind the oldest child in the class. And they are likely to be struggling for the next 8 or 12 years to keep up with their older classmates, and comparing themselves, and maybe start thinking of themselves as less smart or less competent, when in fact they're not. They can be very smart kids, but just developmentally younger. So if my own child, my second child, William, had a May birthday, he taught himself to read in kindergarten, even though reading wasn't formally taught in the Waldorf kindergarten. It's something that came naturally to him. And our cutoff for first grade was June. You had to be 6 by June 1st in order to enter first grade the following year. Now, most schools, Waldorf schools, do an assessment of first grade readiness with some teachers. There are different physical activities, and they may ask to draw something or write their name. A physical test is whether they can hold their hand over their head and reach their ear. That gives an indication when the limbs are developed a certain way. So my son Will could have gone on to first grade. I looked at him next to the other children going on to first grade. Some of them were a full year older, and he was smaller than the others. He was small for his age. He was emotionally not as developed as those older children going on. So we made the decision to, even though he could have done the academic work and was already reading, we gave him that extra year of kindergarten to explore and play and live in the world of his imagination. And by the time he reached eighth grade, it was clear we had made the right choice. That class before him that had gone on, by eighth grade, at their eighth grade graduation, they were tall, and some of the boys' voices were changing, and they were developing facial hair, while my son Will still looked, by comparison, like a little boy. He was in the right group with his peers. So it's not just about intellect or academics or how smart your child is or their IQ. It's all those things. It's physical, emotional, and cognitive. So if your child has a summer birthday, I just urge you to give this some thought and think about the gift that you might be giving your child with an extra year to play. I hope that helps. As always, I'd love to hear your questions. You can leave a comment below or email your questions to me at sundaywithsarah@bellalunatoys.com. And I'll do my best to answer on a future video. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you next time.